man. We do have some breaking NFL news, and we're joined now by Audacy NFL insider Mark Schlereth, host of the Stinkin' Truth podcast. Insider Calls brought to you by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side. And a good afternoon, Stink. How the heck are you?
I am doing great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. How you guys doing?
Man, we're doing great. Cowboys news this morning, but just earlier this hour, John Harbaugh, I guess mutual parting of ways with the Ravens. Are you surprised that after 18 years there's no more John Harbaugh in Baltimore?
I guess I'm not surprised based on how the season went and a lot of reports about, not seeing eye to eye with Lamar and some of that stuff. And who knows how much of that is true, how much of that is fabricated, I don't know. But oftentimes in the NFL where there's smoke, there's always a little bit of fire. And, I would imagine that if John wants to coach, he'll have about 5 job offers here in the next hour or two. So, it'll be interesting to see exactly kind of how that kind of unfolds, if he wants to take a year away or whatever. But it's sad. John is a buddy, and he's always been really good to me, and he's had great teams and won a Super Bowl, and he's done an unbelievable job there.
If the quarterback and his agent come to you and say it's us or him, do you think the Ravens made the right decision?
No. But I understand it's a player-driven league and all that kind of stuff. So I get all that. But, there's a certain way I think that the Ravens have to structure themselves to have success. And I know that Lamar's won multiple MVPs and he's a dynamic athlete. But at some point, when those athletic skills wane, are you a legitimate drop back, kind of control the game from the pocket quarterback? And I would say that's never been what he has been capable of doing. That's never been what he is. And so I don't know that at this stage of the game that he'll ever become that. And I think that's been one of the big issues come playoff time and why they've lost football games.
Stink, you've talked to us about doing consulting around the league before. So if you're a team and they're like, hey, we let go of our defensive coordinator, who are some names that you would want to go after that could be available right now or maybe aren't even available that you'd still try and pursue?
Yeah, I love Rollis in Arizona, and he was Jonathan Gannon's right-hand man. I love Jonathan Gannon. I think both of those guys are great coaches, so that would be a direction that I certainly would go in. I think that there's a lot of guys that are waiting to get that, head coaching job. So we'll see exactly kind of how those things pan out. But there are some good coaches out there, and I love kind of having a dude that has been a head coach that has been in that situation before. Although that didn't work out with Eberflus, but like I said, I love the Rollis kid. I love he's a young guy too. He's in his 30s, and then I love Jonathan Gannon. I think he's a really good coordinator, and ultimately he got caught up in an organization that went through. I think they used all 90 of their moves from a roster standpoint because of all the injuries they've had. So kind of impossible to win when you're fielding 2 whole complete teams and you're playing nothing but backups.
Hey, Stink, if you did have the opportunity to be a general manager and sit down with one of these coaches, what's the first thing you want to ask them? As far as like if you're a defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, can you be a head coach? What's the one thing that you want to ask them?
Philosophical approach. What identity do you want to build? I think, and I'll just go back to Jacksonville, talking to Tony Baselli and talking to James Gladstone, their GM. And the reason that they ended up hiring Liam Cohen wasn't because of the work he did with Baker Mayfield. It was because the first thing he came in there and basically said is, this is my plan to support your quarterback, but here's the plan number 1 to become a more physical football team to be able to run the ball on a consistent basis. And now here's how we're going to support the quarterback. And they went out and they got an offensive coordinator that was in the Minnesota system that was in that system that Liam Cohen's going to run. They went out and got Nick Mullins, who was in that system. They could impart all that wisdom and all that knowledge to the quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. Then they went out and got Robert Hainsey, the starting center from Tampa Bay, who had lost his job last year, but they got him to come into Jacksonville to be the starting center so they could take all the protection stuff off the plate of Trevor Lawrence and say, hey, man, here's what we're going to do. We're going to run the ball to support you. We're going to have somebody in that meeting room that speaks the language, that really knows this offense inside and out, so he can present it to you from a player's perspective, which often is a little bit different than the way the coaches present things, right? There's a different language and there's a different level of, I don't even want to call it trust, but kind of understanding in the way a player speaks. And then ultimately we're going to take a lot of the load off of you so you can just focus on footwork and the things that you need to improve upon by letting the center actually call the protections and do that stuff for you to take that off your plate. So I just think that was, like, to me, that was huge in the success of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Do you have a round one upset special for the playoffs?
Round one upset special. Gosh, I think that I don't know. I haven't really thought about upset specials. So let's go through them. So we've got Buffalo at Jacksonville, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Jacksonville's the best team in the AFC right now. They're playing better than anybody else, so I'm not going to go in that direction. We've got the Chargers at New England. No, I think the Houston Texans, I don't think it's an upset, though. I think the Houston Texans are going to go into Pittsburgh and win. That defense is just too damn good. I think San Francisco, as beat up and as injured as they are and as bad as they look Saturday night against the Seahawks, I think the 49ers could go into Philadelphia and win. What game am I missing? What wild card weekend game am I missing?
Steelers, Texans?
He said Houston was.
That.
Yeah, he said Houston.
Houston.
Sorry. I was looking at other breaking news.
Yeah.
Stink.
Yeah. It's all good. But that's probably the direction I would go.
Who's your MVP?
Anybody but a quarterback. But I know it's going to go to a quarterback.
Yeah.
So I got to pick between two quarterbacks. I'm going to go probably Matthew Stafford.
See, I was wondering, Stink.
And part of that is a lifetime achievement award, by the way.
Sure.
Yeah. I was thinking about you the other day, actually, Stink, when the Rose Bowl, when they gave the MVP to the offensive lineman. I thought that was like the coolest thing in the world. Like the kid standing up there, and his teammates were so damn happy for him. You know, I mean, that offensive line played great for Indiana, but it's nice that the guy, he's like, hey, I don't know the history of the Rose Bowl, but you know, it's nice to be the MVP. Yeah, he'll go down in history for sure. They were great the other day.
Yeah, no question about it. I always say, hey, man, the quarterbacks get all the, they get the money, they get the, endorsement opportunities, the girl, they get everything. So why do we have to give them the MVPs too? Let's give it to real football players. Those guys don't play football; they play quarterback. So let's not do that. But that's the way we can't take our eyes off the ball. That's the problem.
Spread the wealth, man. How do you feel when another man tells you, I was thinking about you the other day?
I feel good about that. I feel really good.
Yeah,
I feel really good about that.
Yeah, when I said that, I kind of thought, oh, geez, why'd I say that?
Yeah, listen, you're only human.
Yeah.
I mean, it won't be. It's not the first time. It won't be the last time that another man is thinking about me.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Appreciate you as always, Mark. Enjoy Wild Card Weekend. We'll catch up with you next week.
Sounds good. Take care.
There he goes. Mark Schlereth, brought to you by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side. You can also catch him on the Stinkin' Truth podcast. And yes, they're at the break, or at the middle of the segment, news that Jason Garrett's going to interview for the Titans job.
Look at that, boys.
Leaving no stone unturned. Tennessee Titans.
Jason Garrett, we are living in a world where he is still getting head coach interviews right now.
The ceiling is the roof.
Can you imagine?
Amazing.
If you're a Titans fan right now, we're like, okay, we're going to take Jason Garrett and pair him with our guy Cam Ward. Are you bleeping kidding me?
I thought he was going to get the job at UNT. What happened with that?
I think that was a ball sack.
Oh, that was a ball sack.
Yeah.
This one seems like it could be. I mean, after 5 years since you were OC of the Giants that went down in flames, I thought, the world had sort of moved on from considering Jason Garrett, but just goes to show you, NFL teams are looking for different things.
Let me tell you what, he'll go in there and blow them away.
Yeah.
He will. He'll go in there. He'll talk real nice. And
have some lemonades.
He'll have a beautifully tailored suit. He'll be really polite. He'll call the lady owner ma'am a lot and yes ma'am, and you got to think of things. He'll be very polished. His words will be measured.
Are we talking about how good field goals actually are if you squint?
Yeah.
And you look at his
team
way?
build. Probably help him team build. I would just be looking for.
The guy can evaluate players. I do give him credit for that.
What'd you think about the name Nick Rollis? I got to dive into this. Sounded like Stink was a big fan of him.
Well, see, that's one of the things, too, that I was in talk to some people around the league with the thing with Gannon. They were kind of thinking, like, if you didn't get Gannon, Nick Rollis was a guy that I did hear one guy mention that.
Okay.
All righty, it's the G-Bag Nation here on 105.3 The Fan.
Sounds like I just threw that in there, but that was a name that actually was mentioned. Nick Rollis.
It has had a little bit of momentum.
Yeah,
First time hearing about this guy.
Yeah, ball sacking the hell out of us right now. He doesn't even know who this guy is.
Nick Rollis. Now, here's a guy.
I'm just no. You guys know damn good and well I can't remember all the names.
Yeah.
You know that. And
No,
so,
Nick Rollis is a tough one.
yeah, Nick Rollis.
They'd go with Gannon, I think, before they'd hire a Rollis. But you never know. Maybe he is young and up and coming.